Welcome back. Today we're diving into one of America's most iconic and widely collected coins, the Jefferson nickel, featuring the Monticello design. While most nickels in your pocket might only be worth 5 cents, certain rare issues, mint mark varieties, and condition-dependent survivors have skyrocketed in value, with some fetching thousands of dollars at auction. In this video, we'll count down the 6 most valuable Monticello Jefferson nickels, explore why they're so special, and uncover just how much money these little 5-cent coins can bring in today's market. So let's get started. First up, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American coinage, the 1969 Jefferson nickel with the Denver Mint mark, commonly known as the 1969 D Monticello 5-cent coin. At first glance, this may look like an ordinary nickel you might find in your change jar, but don't be fooled. Certain examples of this coin, even in circulated fine condition, have drawn considerable attention from collectors worldwide. We'll explore the story of the 1969 D Jefferson nickel, its history, rarity, unique features, and why it can still command impressive auction values in the U.S. coin market today. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. The design, featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Monticello home on the reverse, has remained an enduring symbol of U.S. coinage. By 1969, America was in the midst of cultural change, but the Jefferson nickel still carried forward this traditional design. Produced at the Denver Mint, the 1969 D issue was struck in large numbers, with over 202 million pieces minted. While that sounds like an overwhelming supply, what makes certain surviving examples notable is their condition, strike quality, and errors, all of which have made this data stand out for numismatists. The obverse of the coin displays a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1969. Just to the right of the portrait, you'll find the small D mint mark, denoting the Denver Mint. On the reverse side, we see Monticello, Jefferson's neoclassical home in Virginia, with the words E pluribus unum, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. While this design is standard for Jefferson nickels of the era, what makes the 1969 D issue intriguing is that well-struck examples are harder to come by, especially in higher grades. Collectors often struggle to find coins with sharp details on Monticello's steps, a key point of focus when evaluating condition. Now, you might be asking, if over 202 million coins were minted, how can this nickel be rare? The answer lies in survival quality. Most of these coins were used heavily in daily circulation, meaning they picked up scratches, wear, and loss of detail. Very few examples survived in pristine condition, and even circulated fine condition coins can still attract collectors when they are free of major damage. Additionally, certain rare error varieties of the 1969 D Jefferson nickel, such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, or full-step designations on Monticello, can elevate the value significantly. This is why collectors remain eager to hunt down this date, knowing that gems could still be found in coin rolls, old collections, or even pocket change. So, how much is a 1969 D Jefferson nickel worth today? In circulated fine condition, its base value is generally modest, usually around 10 to 50 cents, depending on the overall look and preservation. However, when you move into the higher uncirculated grades, the price jumps considerably. A mint state example with strong details can sell for $50 to $100, while rare full steps varieties have achieved auction records into the hundreds or even over $1,000. In fact, one high-grade 1969 D Jefferson nickel with full steps once sold at auction for nearly $4,000, showing just how much demand exists for quality specimens of this otherwise common issue. If you're looking to add the 1969 D Jefferson nickel to your collection, here are a few tips. First, always check the condition carefully, especially the steps on Monticello, as sharp details make a huge difference in value. Second, look for mint errors or die varieties, as these can transform a simple circulated nickel into a prized rarity. Third, Consider having higher-grade examples certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC, as professional authentication can boost both trust and market value. Finally, don't underestimate circulated fine condition coins. While they may not bring thousands, they remain historically important and are still sought after by those completing Jefferson nickel date and mint mark sets. The 1969 D. Jefferson nickel might not appear extraordinary at first, but its story is one of survival, condition, and collector passion. From its roots in American history to its role in the numismatic market, this coin proves that even a common nickel can carry rare value when the right details align. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your coin journey, keep an eye out, because treasures like the 1969 D. Monticello nickel could still be hiding in your change. Next up, the Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel from 1965, struck without a mint mark. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another ordinary nickel in circulation. But as every seasoned collector knows, the beauty of numismatics is that hidden treasures often lie in plain sight. We'll explore the history, unique features, and collector demand for this 1965 Jefferson nickel in very fine condition, and of course, reveal just how much value it can fetch on the auction market in dollars. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Its design was chosen through a public competition, won by sculptor Felix Schlag. His design features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, and Jefferson's iconic Monticello home on the reverse. By the mid-1960s, however, the United States Mint faced an unprecedented coin shortage. This led to significant changes in coin production, especially in the years 1965 through 1967. During this period, the Mint removed mint marks entirely from coins, including the Jefferson nickel, in an effort to discourage hoarding and speculation. This means that number 1965 nickel carries a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Only the Philadelphia Mint struck them, without a mint mark. The 1965 Jefferson nickel carries all the hallmarks of Schlag's classic design. On the obverse, Jefferson's left-facing bust dominates the field, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" followed by the date. The reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with its dome and pillars standing proudly at the center. Beneath it are the inscriptions Monticello and 5 cents, with E pluribus unum above. What makes the 1965 issue stand out is the absence of any mint mark, a deliberate omission during the mint's transitionary period. For collectors, this no mint mark feature has become a historical reminder of a unique era in U.S. coinage. While the 1965 Jefferson nickel was minted in very large numbers, over 136 million pieces, finding well-preserved examples today is not as easy as it seems. Most of these nickels circulated heavily, and only a small percentage remain in collectible conditions like very fine or higher. In very fine condition, details of Jefferson's hair, cheek, and the Monticello building are still visible, though slightly worn. This makes such coins highly desirable among collectors, especially for those assembling complete Jefferson nickel date sets. The demand is also fueled by the historical significance of the no mint mark policy, which lasted only 3 years. Now, let's talk about the part that excites every collector: the value. A 1965 Jefferson nickel in average circulated condition usually trades for just a few cents above face value. However, once you move into higher grades like very fine, extremely fine, and especially mint state, the value begins to rise significantly. In very fine condition, collectors may pay between $1 to $5 for a clean example. Higher grade coins, particularly uncirculated specimens, can reach values of $25 to $50 or more at auctions. Rare error varieties, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, can push auction prices into the hundreds of dollars, with a few extraordinary pieces fetching over $1,000. While a standard very fine 1965 nickel is not among the top-tier rarities, its historical appeal ensures it has a stable place in the collector's market. If you're on the hunt for a 1965 Jefferson nickel, here are a few tips. First, Always examine the condition carefully. Even small differences in grade can have a big impact on value. Look for nickels with sharp details on Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps, as these areas tend to wear first. Second, keep an eye out for minting errors, which are highly collectible. Finally, consider purchasing coins already graded and authenticated by a reputable service such as PCGS or NGC, especially if you plan on investing in higher value examples. Patience is key in coin collecting. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking change can hide a gem. The 1965 Monticello Jefferson nickel without mint mark might not seem extraordinary at first, but its story tells a lot about America's coinage history. From the coin shortage of the 1960s to its enduring place in collections today, it represents both a common circulating coin and a piece of numismatic heritage. In very fine condition, it may not make you instantly rich, but it remains a sought-after coin with steady value in the collector's market. So next time you're sorting through nickels, take a closer look. You just might be holding a piece of history worth far more than 5 cents. Next up, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American coinage history. The Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel from 1980 with the Denver D mint mark. At first glance, this coin may look like any other pocket change nickel you might come across. But when it comes to numismatics, even seemingly ordinary coins can hold secrets that make them highly collectible. We'll break down its history, unique features, rarity, current auction values in dollars, and why collectors are paying close attention to this coin. The Jefferson nickel has been in continuous production since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Its obverse proudly features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence, while the reverse showcases his famous home, Monticello, located in Virginia. By 1980, the U.S. Mint was producing nickels in the hundreds of millions. The Denver Mint struck well over 372 million nickels that year, so on the surface, the 1980 D nickel seems far from rare. However, like many coins, the true value lies not only in how many were minted, but in how many survive in collectible condition and in the presence of unusual varieties or errors. The 1980 D Jefferson nickel carries the traditional design created by Felix Schlag. On the obverse, Jefferson's portrait is accompanied by the motto, "In God We Trust," to the left, "Liberty," and the date to the right. Just beside the date, you'll find the D mint mark, denoting that the coin was struck in Denver. The reverse features Monticello, with the inscriptions E pluribus unum, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Collectors often look for sharp strikes on Jefferson's hair details and strong steps on Monticello's staircase, known as full steps. Nickels with this designation are highly desirable, and even from 1980, they can fetch strong premiums. While the 1980 D nickel is not rare in the traditional sense due to its massive mintage, the rarity comes into play in 2 key ways: condition and varieties. Circulated examples are common, but coins with minimal wear and sharp details are much scarcer. Even more prized are coins displaying the full steps designation, meaning every line of the Monticello steps is visible without wear or weak strikes. Additionally, error coins such as off-center strikes, die clashes, or double dies from 1980 D can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. This has created a surprising demand for high-quality or error examples, even though the base coin itself is widely available. So what is a 1980 D Jefferson nickel worth today? In circulated condition, its value is usually modest, around 10 to 30 cents, just slightly above face value for collectors filling holes in albums. However, things change dramatically when condition and rarity come into play. A 1980 D in uncirculated mint state with full steps has sold for anywhere between $50 to over $1,000 at auctions, depending on the grade. The highest recorded prices often come from coins graded MS66 or MS67 full steps, where competition among collectors drives value sky high. Rare error examples, such as dramatic off-centers or double dies, have also crossed the $500 to $2,000 range in recent years. This shows how an ordinary-looking nickel from pocket change can turn into a valuable prize if the right features are present. If you're searching for valuable 1980 D nickels, here are a few tips. Always check the steps on Monticello. A clear, Unbroken staircase means you may have a full steps nickel. Look carefully for errors or varieties, using a magnifier to check for doubling in the lettering or unusual striking flaws. Even circulated coins with strong detail can bring a premium, so never dismiss a well-struck example. Finally, if you believe your coin could be high-grade or unique, consider having it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, as this authentication can significantly increase its value at auction. The 1980 D. Jefferson nickel may not seem like a rare treasure at first, but with the right features, high grade, full steps, or an error variety, it can transform from pocket change into a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. The thrill of discovering hidden value in something most people overlook. So, the next time you come across a Jefferson nickel from 1980, don't just spend it, take a closer look. You never know what hidden gem you might be holding. Next up, we're diving into the world of Jefferson nickels, with a special focus on one of the more fascinating issues, the 1970 D. Monticello 5-cent coin. At first glance, the 1970 D. Jefferson nickel might seem like just another pocket change find. But when it comes to condition, striking errors, and collector demand, this coin can stand out in a big way. If you've ever wondered whether the change in your jar could hold hidden treasures, stick with me as we uncover the rarity, features, and surprising market value of the 1970 D. Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin featured a portrait of America's third president, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse, and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. The design endured for decades, making it one of the longest-running series in U.S. coinage history. By 1970, the nickel had already become a staple in American currency, with the Denver Mint producing hundreds of millions that year. Despite this large mintage, certain coins survive in higher-grade conditions that attract collector attention. The 1970 D. nickel is an interesting study, as its common appearance hides the fact that some well-preserved or error-struck examples can fetch remarkable values. The 1970 D. Jefferson nickel carries the D. mint mark just to the right of Monticello on the reverse side, signifying its origin at the Denver Mint. Its obverse features a left-facing Jefferson with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," along with the date, 1970. On the reverse, Schlag's detailed design of Monticello is accompanied by the inscriptions "E Pluribus Unum, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America." While the design itself remains standard, collectors often look for details such as strong strikes, full steps on Monticello, and error varieties like die cracks or double strikes. These unique characteristics can turn an ordinary nickel into a prized rarity. While the Denver Mint produced well over 500 million Jefferson nickels in 1970, most entered circulation and suffered the wear and tear of daily use. Finding examples in very fine condition is not unusual, but coins that approach mint state or display full steps on Monticello are significantly rarer and highly desirable among collectors. Furthermore, any die errors, misstrikes, or double dies from this year attract intense interest. Collectors love the Jefferson series because it's still affordable to start, but holds hidden gems that can be worth a fortune. The 1970 D is no exception, especially when you find one with exceptional detail and luster. In very fine condition, the 1970 D. Jefferson nickel is typically valued at a modest amount, usually a few cents to a couple of dollars, depending on the grading service and demand at the time. However, the story changes drastically for higher grades. Coins with sharp strikes, brilliant surfaces, or the coveted full steps designation can sell for hundreds, and in some cases, even over $1,000 at auction. For example, certain mint state full step 1970 D nickels have shocked the market by reaching four-figure prices. This is why even a common-looking nickel can become a rarity when condition and strike quality are considered. If you're looking to add the 1970 D. Jefferson nickel to your collection, always pay attention to condition first. Look for coins with strong detail in Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps. Coins with minimal wear and good luster stand out the most. It's also smart to have higher-grade examples certified by a trusted grading service, as this increases both their legitimacy and market appeal. Keep an eye out for error varieties and double strikes, as these often command premiums. Finally, always handle coins carefully and store them in protective holders to preserve their condition for years to come. The 1970 D Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel may not seem rare at first glance, but when you look deeper, you'll find that condition, strike quality, and unique errors can transform this everyday coin into a collector's treasure. While many examples remain common, high-grade or full-step specimens can command impressive prices at auction, making this nickel a fascinating piece of U.S. coinage history. So, the next time you sort through your change or explore a coin shop, keep an eye out for the 1970 D Jefferson nickel. It just might surprise you with its hidden value. Next up, the 1967 Jefferson nickel, better known as the Monticello 5-cent coin. Now, at first glance, you might not think much about this coin. After all, millions were minted, and it's a fairly common piece in circulation. But when it comes to rare varieties, unique conditions, and historical context, even a damaged 1967 nickel without a mint mark can sometimes surprise collectors with its market value. In this video, we'll break down the story behind this coin, its unique features, its rarity, and what it can be worth at auctions in today's market, even in less than perfect condition. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features a portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, while the reverse showcases his historic Virginia estate, Monticello. By 1967, the U.S. Mint was in the middle of a coinage crisis. Rising silver prices had forced major changes in coin compositions, and the Mint was trying to ease coin shortages by removing mint marks from coins struck between 1965 and 1967. That's why you won't find a mint mark on this 1967 nickel. Every single one was struck without one, whether they were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The 1967 Jefferson nickel carries the familiar bust of Thomas Jefferson facing left on the obverse. The inscriptions include, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," along with the year 1967. On the reverse, Monticello is depicted with the words Monticello, 5 cents, United States of America, and the classic motto, E pluribus unum. The coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams. What makes it unique for collectors is that it comes from the no mint mark era, meaning it cannot be directly tied to one mint location, a feature that distinguishes it from most other Jefferson nickels. Now, it's true that the 1967 nickel was minted in huge numbers, over 107 million pieces. But what makes certain examples stand out is condition, strike quality, and errors. Full steps varieties, where the steps on Monticello are sharply struck and fully visible, are incredibly rare for this year and can fetch large sums. Even in damaged or circulated condition, some 1967 nickels are still kept by collectors simply because of the historical no mint mark policy. On top of that, error coins such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or double dies make some of these nickels highly desirable. So what is a 1967 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark worth today? In damaged or heavily circulated condition, most will trade for just face value, 5 cents. However, some pieces with unusual errors or even just better eye appeal, despite damage, have managed to bring anywhere from $10 to $50 at auctions. The real stars are higher grade examples. Mint state coins can sell for hundreds, and those with full steps details have reached auction records in the range of $3,000 to $5,000. The key takeaway is that while a damaged 1967 nickel won't usually make you rich, it's worth checking carefully, because certain varieties and unique characteristics can still carry surprising value. If you come across a 1967 Jefferson nickel, don't dismiss it too quickly. First, examine the reverse closely to see if the steps of Monticello are visible. Even partial steps can increase interest. Second, look for errors such as double lettering, misaligned strikes, or die breaks. Third, preservation is key. Even if your coin is damaged, keep it safe in a protective holder to avoid further wear. And lastly, always compare your coin with auction results online to see if it might have a variety or error that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. The 1967 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark may seem ordinary, but in the world of numismatics, history, condition, and unique characteristics can transform an everyday coin into a collector's treasure. Even damaged coins hold value for those passionate about this era of American coinage. From its no-mint mark background to its rare full steps varieties, this nickel remains a fascinating piece of U.S. history. So next time you spot one in your change, give it a closer look. You might just be holding a small piece of hidden value. Next up, the Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel from 1963 without a mint mark. At first glance, this nickel might look like just another ordinary pocket change coin. But when it's found in excellent condition, it can surprise even seasoned collectors with its true rarity and impressive market value at auctions. So, if you've ever dismissed those old nickels in your change jar, this episode might just change your perspective. The Jefferson nickel has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, the coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, while his famous Virginia estate, Monticello, appears on the reverse. The year 1963 was particularly interesting for the Jefferson nickel series, as it marked the final full year of production before the significant changes that came in the mid-1960s with silver shortages and design adjustments. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of these coins in 1963, and the absence of a mint mark identifies it as a Philadelphia issue. What makes the 1963 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel stand out are its crisp design details and historical charm. On the obverse, Jefferson's profile is framed by the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1963. The reverse displays Monticello in classical style, with E pluribus unum above and the denomination 5 cents and United States of America below. In excellent, well-preserved condition, these coins often display sharp steps on Monticello's staircase, a detail known among collectors as full steps. This feature greatly increases the desirability of the coin and is often what separates a common nickel from a rare, high-value treasure. While millions of 1963 Jefferson nickels were minted, very few survive today in excellent, uncirculated condition. Most circulated heavily, leading to wear that eroded the finer details. Coins with strong luster, full steps, and no major blemishes are considered rare. Collectors actively seek these higher-grade examples, and the demand continues to grow as Jefferson nickels become more recognized in the numismatic world. For many collectors, completing a set of Jefferson nickels with full steps is a challenging yet rewarding pursuit, and the 1963 no-mint mark piece is an essential key in that journey. Now let's talk about value. In average circulated condition, a 1963 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark may only be worth its face value or slightly more. But when we step into the realm of excellent, uncirculated examples, particularly those graded MS65 or higher with full steps, the prices can skyrocket. At recent auctions, these coins have sold for hundreds and sometimes even thousands of dollars depending on grade and strike quality. A pristine example with sharp full steps can command upwards of $2,000 to $5,000 at auction, making it one of the standout nickels of the early 1960s. If you're on the hunt for a 1963 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, here are a few things to keep in mind. First, focus on condition. Look for strong luster, minimal contact marks, and especially sharp steps on Monticello. Second, always consider getting the coin graded by a professional service, as certified grades carry much more weight in the market. Third, study auction results and dealer listings to get a sense of fair market value before making any purchase. Finally, handle coins carefully. Even a small scratch can dramatically reduce value. Building patience and a sharp eye will give you the edge in finding that rare, high-value example. The 1963 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel without a mint mark may seem like a common coin at first, but in excellent condition it transforms into a valuable rarity that collectors are willing to pay big dollars for. From its historical roots honoring Thomas Jefferson and Monticello, to its unique design features and high-grade scarcity, this nickel holds a special place in American numismatic history. So next time you come across an old Jefferson nickel, don't overlook it. It might just be one of those rare gems hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin deep dives.